I was raised Christian. I grew up in a Christian home. My mom took me to church every single week. I went to a Christian school. I lived like the quintessential good girl Christian life. I never broke away from being a Christian. I think that I just followed what my parents told me to do, and God was always real to me. But you know, you grow up and through middle school and high school, you kind of just like want to be like everyone else, and God, going to church just becomes like where you see your friends. And so I think I went through that transition of loving God as a little kid, and then it being kind of like the thing that I did for social life. I actually moved out to Los Angeles, California when I was 18. And I think that is when God became real to me. You're kind of forced to be like, okay, what is it that I really believe in? What does this all mean? Is God really real to me? Because no one's asking me to go to church anymore. No one's forcing me to read the Bible. No one's asking me to do anything. And I gotta know if this is real for myself or if it's not. And I think I went through a time of kind of just wanting to be an actress and be famous, and I thought I would be the next it thing. I had a MTV show with my sister where they brought us out to LA and said we'd be the next thing and the next actresses, and it was a reality show about us. And I think that became more important to me than God, and God just kind of like sifted out and was just kind of like a minor thought. And then you go through real life and you're like, gosh, everybody's living the same way and nobody's really happy. So what is it that I truly believe in? And what is it that my parents taught me that I'm gonna hold on to? And I just really asked God really honestly, like, hey, if you're real, I need you to be real for me. If you're gonna provide for me, I need you to provide for me. If you do all these things, I need you to be real. And I think that's when He showed Himself to me. My life is so different because of Jesus. When I went out to California, the number one thing that I realized was that it's 99% rejection. And I thought, you know, I'm just gonna go and be famous. It's a lot harder than you think, and some people do make it, but most of it is rejection. And God has really come through for me, because I could have gone a really bad route, but He has taken me in and been my best friend, and I don't feel rejected. And I know that sounds super cliche, but man, when you really feel alone and you feel like nobody is accepting you and you can't get it right, God will always make sure that you get it right for Him. You know, everybody has like a testimony where I would go to church all the time, and people would be like, I'm on drugs, I was in a gang, I've done this, I've done that. And I always thought to myself, you know, I don't really have a story. I kind of never did anything bad. You do have a story. It's just as hard to be faithful as it is to go through some kind of trial and tribulation and come back. Now, I don't have to feel bad that I didn't come do something really horrible and God had to turn my life around. He just kind of met me where I was at, because I just needed Him to be real for me. And I grew up in church. And I wish that through the whole time He was as real to me. And I'm realizing the older I get, the more that we make Him first and priority, the easier our lives become. Not that our lives don't have troubles and like circumstance and things, but they do. It doesn't become super easy, but we can walk through this life and overcome things with Him. And this thing is a real deal. Jesus is real. God is real. And we are so privileged to know Him.